and welcome back to Expert Talks. I'm Agathe Ducar. Today we are with Jean-Grégoire Manoukian, also known as JG, who's going to share with us 3 best practices on safety observations. JG, thank you so much for being with us today.
It's my pleasure to be here.
Great. So JG, we did a video on near-miss reporting a while back. How is that one different?
So for both near misses and observations, the steps are the same. You see something and you report it. The difference is in what you report. In the case of near misses, we're talking about incidents that did not lead to injury or harm. In the case of observations, we're talking about at-risk or unsafe behaviors or conditions that could lead to incidents. And in both cases, the goal is to help you proactively identify hazards and risks.
Well, yeah, that makes sense. Thank you. What's the first best practice that you want to share?
The first best practice is to remind workers that a safety observations program is not about assigning blame. Okay. Sometimes the obstacles to a successful program are mainly psychological. Workers may hesitate to report observations because they think that it may make their colleagues look bad. So remind everyone that the purpose of the program is to improve safety.
Yeah, that makes sense. I can see where people would hesitate and you have to basically reassure them. What's the second best practice?
The second best practice is to include contractors. You may already have work sites where contract workers outnumber your own employees. So relying strictly on your own employees to help you identify hazards and risks, that's no longer an option.
And when you say including contractors, do you mean also giving them access to the same system where you report observation and incidents?
You can use the same mobile app. So for example, with the Enablon Go app, contractors can also enter observations just like your own employees. So that way everybody enters observations. And contractors can install the app with just a few steps. However, while contractors can enter events and observations, they don't have access to your company's EHS software platform through the mobile app.
Okay, yeah, that's a good way to protect your data.
Exactly, yes.
Great, so that leads us to the third best practice.
So the third and final best practice is to compare the number of observations with incident rates. Remember, the purpose of the program is to proactively identify hazards and risks. The number of safety observations, that's a leading indicator. The incident rates are lagging indicators, and they help to evaluate the effectiveness of the safety observations program.
Okay, so what's the connection between incidents and observations?
Well, by comparing observations and incident rates, you can see if you're receiving valuable insights into hazards and risks, and if you are successfully addressing them.
I see. So basically, if you have a lot of observations and a few incidents, that's good, right?
That's a good sign in general, yes.
But can you have a lot of observation and still the incidence rates are high?
Oh yes, and if that's happening, it's a sign of one of 2 things. Number 1, the quality of your observations is not good. They're not giving valuable insights into hazards and risks. Or number 2, the observations are good, but you're not taking any actions to eliminate hazards or control risks. So you have to make sure that the quality of the observations is good. Quality is more important than quantity, and you must act on what you observe.
Okay, that makes sense. Can we recap maybe the 3 best practices on safety observation now?
Yes. So number 1, emphasize that it's not about assigning blame. Repeat that message over and over again. Number 2, include contractors. They are also valuable sources of information on potential hazards and risks. And number 3, compare the number of observations with incident rates. It'll help you measure the effectiveness of your safety observations program.
Great. Well, thank you so much for sharing 3 best practices on safety observation. And thank you all for watching Expert Talks. Stay tuned for more insights on industry topics.